All right, everybody. So today I'm going to go live with Trap Gambino. So this should be interesting. Trap's a big personality. He has a large following on as well. So should be pretty fun to mix it up with him a little bit. Trap, what's up, man?
Just like that, we're live?
Yeah, man.
Man, that's easy. I've never done one of these before.
Yeah, you can do them all the time. I'd assume you probably will.
Oh yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, I'm usually like used to like Skype or Zoom, but this is dope. Just straight to the point.
Yeah, so I want to let you kind of introduce yourself if there's people who may not know who you are that are watching this.
Sure, man. My name's Trap Gambino. I'm a super heavyweight MMA fighter and soon to be boxer from Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm an actor. I haven't really acted in a long time, but kind of focused on fighting right now. I do music and stuff, and yeah, man, I dabble in a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I know. I've seen you around like on social media a lot. I mean, you have a big following, and I know you went on
Yeah,
like Dr. Phil
yeah,
and
man.
things like
Social
that.
media. Yeah, social media has done a lot of great things for me, man, and a lot of good and a lot of bad things too. But it's a double-edged sword, social media.
Now, when did you kind of find the combat sport, so to speak?
So, I was always like a pro wrestling fan growing up, and one of my favorite pro wrestlers was Brock Lesnar. And like 2007, I heard that he was going to have a real fight, like an MMA fight. And my brother ordered the pay-per-view. He called me up. He was like, "Hey, man, Brock Lesnar is going to fight for real." And I couldn't believe it. I had to see it. I went over there, and I think he fought already. He already fought Frank Mir, but it was like a quick
Hmm.
submission. This time he fought Heath Herring for his comeback fight.
Right.
And they square up, and everybody's doubting Brock Lesnar. He's going to get mopped by this UFC fighter. And he goes in there, and the first punch he throws, Heath Herring like does a barrel roll, like backflip, and Brock just tackles him. And my heart just was racing, and I was just like, man, this is awesome. And Brock just whooped his ass the whole fight. Was being cocky with them, and I really enjoyed that fight, man. And I think that was the fight that really got me stuck into MMA. And ever since then, I've just been a big fan, and Brock Lesnar is to thank for that for sure. Brock Lesnar or pro wrestling?
But what made you kind of get in the gyms?
Oh, in the gym, man.
Yeah,
So
yeah. What made you
I
decide
was
to kind of
losing.
transition from that?
Oh, okay. So I've been boxing my whole life. I grew up like in, I went to the Salvation Army instead of the park and play basketball. I would go to the Salvation Army and we'd box. And I grew up in a neighborhood where that was just a thing for us. And when I when I had kids, I was so big that I wanted to lose a lot of weight. I was like 465 pounds, and I was getting out of breath tying my shoes. And as soon as I had a kid, like it hit me, like man, like I'm literally killing myself. I wasn't drinking any water. I talked to my buddy about it all the time. I was surviving on like soda and just killing my body for years. And I was morbidly obese, and being an athlete was just so far out for me. And I just started literally just putting the gloves on, standing in front of a heavy bag for like 60 seconds at a time, and just moving my body around, just hitting the heavy bag. And it went from 60 seconds to 90 seconds, from 90 seconds to 3 minutes. And then the next thing you know, I'm dropping a lot of weight, and I'm posting videos, and people are liking the videos, and some people aren't liking the videos. And the people that didn't like the videos, I felt like was my first push to want to be a fighter, because when I first started posting them, I just wanted to, spread inspiration and motivation for people to lose weight like myself. But then I started getting people to comment on there saying that, you're fat, you're never going to be a fighter and all this. And I was like, man, that makes me want to become a fighter. That makes me want to like prove these guys wrong. And that was my first motivation to get in the gym and start doing it.
And what year was that? Do you remember?
2014, I started training,
Where do
like
you
taking
remember
it
that you
like
first went to?
half, like quarter seriously. Yeah, 2014 for sure, when my daughter was born.
What was the first gym that you checked out?
Oh man, that's a great question. I'm pretty sure it's called Elite Boxing, and that's in Ohio. And I went there to spar a super heavyweight, which was a dumb idea for your first day to go into a boxing gym. Like, not really, I haven't really trained since I was a kid. And then after I lost all that weight, I started going into the boxing gym. But yeah, I went to it's elite boxing gym in Ohio somewhere. It was in the boondocks. Where I'm from, there wasn't really gyms or anything around me, so I had to travel like 2 or 3 hours just to get to a boxing gym with real fighters anywhere.
And so tell me, like, did you move to Vegas before you like appeared on Dr. Phil, or did you appear on Dr. Phil before you moved to
So
Vegas? Give me the timeline on
I moved to Vegas around 2016, and I was on Dr. Phil in 2020,
that. Hmm.
like right during the pandemic, pretty much. And yeah, I when I moved to Vegas, my first goal was I moved to Vegas to fight, to become a
Hmm.
fighter myself, and then it just like my wife kind of took over, I guess. She became a fighter, and she became an MMA fighter, then a professional boxer, and she was getting like all this money on Fremont Street from performing, and fans all over the world. And my goal was pretty much like it switched from wanting to become a fighter to just like pushing her to be the best that she could be, because
Hmm.
I saw that we had something here, and I was trying to run with it. And then I got her pregnant again. So now it was like it kind of switched to on me. So that was around another time, like it was like it switched from being all on her to now it's my job. And that's why we're the perfect relationship, because when she's slacking, I got to pick up, and that's what I'm doing right now.
But tell me what it's like. You moved to Vegas. I mean, you're from you said a small area.
Yeah, small
Kind
town
of, because I
Ohio.
mean, I live, I kind of come from I would say a small, not a small area, but a smaller area. I moved to Oahu, which there's a lot of people. I was in the military there. Then I lived in Japan, in
Mm.
some of the crazy cities there. So what it's like, you go to Vegas, kind of take me through that a little bit. Maybe
So
your first initial.
I I go from small town Ohio to Vegas, and it's pretty much like I am like learning how to grow up. Like I never flown never flown in a plane until I moved out to Vegas. I've never did a lot of things, like got like hotel rooms and all that stuff, because I'm in this small town and everybody pretty much takes care of each other, and I got a big family in a small town. And I was really comfortable there. And when you go out of your comfort zone into a crazy city like Las Vegas, it's a drastic change, but it's a change that I welcomed, and it's a change that I like, because I got Vegas to thank for a lot of things. And yeah, everything that I'm doing right now, I'd say is because of Vegas.
But what was like some of your initial, like, maybe first forays into kind of the Vegas scene?
Like what do you mean?
Just one of the first things you got involved in, I would say.
Oh, okay. So when I first came out here, a lot of people know I came out here with no money, no jobs lined up. I had no friends or family out here, and I kind of just came out here to follow my heart. And the first thing that really started happening is we were just looking for like how can we make good money out here. And one day I was walking through Fremont Street, and I saw like people standing in these circles, these designated circles, and they were like, some people were just holding stupid signs, some people were actually performing and actually being like talented. And it had me thinking like, I wonder if Ashley came out here and she started like shadow boxing, and we did a thing that was like let's work out to get paid or something like that, like train to get paid. And then I found out that you had to do like a registration to even get into one of those circles. Like you actually had to be employed by Fremont Street to be in there. So we went through all that craziness, and she got a registration for her license to perform on Fremont. And her first day, she went out there with some headgear and some boxing gloves, and I was watching her. And she was shadow boxing, and people were, tipping her in the bucket. And she made about $60 in 2 hours. And I was like, that's kind of cool, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's she's a pretty girl, so let's take the headgear off and see what happens then, because maybe people don't see what she really looks like. We took the headgear off. She made $100 the next day. And then we started, evolving her game and started interacting with more people and started having her shadow box people and starting to spar people. And once she started to do that, she was coming home with $200 to $300 in like 2 hours every day. Easy work, just working out, working on her skills and getting paid at the same time. She had Dana White coming up to her, Nick Diaz coming up to her on Fremont Street. She made all kinds of fans all over the world. Professional boxers would come up and think it's really cool and move around with her and teach her some things. So she was getting legit training and we were getting paid at the same time. And I would say that's our first big introduction to the Vegas scene, and how I kind of like planted our feet out here, and we worked together to plant our feet out here. I was the mind behind it, and she was the body behind it, and we made it happen. And that was the first big thing that we did out here in Vegas.
And then tell me kind of what grew out of that, or obviously
So
talk about her
she ended up getting a fight with the biggest amateur promotion in America, which is Tough Enough out here in Las Vegas. And she was a big fight on that card, and she made some money being on that card. And that was the first thing that came out of it. And then eventually she became a professional boxer, and it's crazy because like she had, with her experience, she shouldn't have done that well in professional boxing, but she did because of the experience that she had on Fremont Street. And a lot of people don't take that in consideration, but when you look at her boxing fight, you can really see that it paid off. And yeah, it went from that to that, and then she got pregnant, and then the pandemic came around, so that's when Dr. Phil started calling, and that's when I went on the Dr. Phil show.
Why did he call you?
So the Dr. Phil show called because there was a lot of fake profiles that's like pretending to be me. They might even comment on this live right now. Like sometimes I'll be in the middle of an interview and like you'll see a comment pop up from Trap Gambino or like Fat Bambino or something, some troll stuff. It's kind of funny sometimes. But the not funny part is that some people are dumb enough to believe that it's really me. And I've had a lot of issues in my life because of that. And fortunately nowadays it's not so much because it's so public that happens to me, but it wasn't back then. And the Dr. Phil show reached out to me because they saw what was going on. And I forget who told them about me, but somebody told them about me, and then they reached out to me because of that. And they did a whole like spiel on my story, and they just interviewed me for weeks and weeks and weeks and brought me on the show. And then the show happened, and I guess we can go from there.
Well, I mean, were you hesitant to do it, or how did you feel leading up
Absolutely
to it?
not, because I knew exactly what I was getting myself into, and I knew it's almost like manifest destiny. So a lot of people don't believe in manifest destiny, and I was on the borderline for it for a while, but now I know for sure it exists, man. Sometimes I feel like I'm in a dream or something, because when me and my wife first got together, we'd always make fun of Dr. Phil, and like, wouldn't it be funny if we was on Dr. Phil one day? Wouldn't that be hilarious? Because it's such a like popular thing, and we're just two random people from Ohio. I never thought that we'd really be on there, but I always talked about it. And then they came calling, and I was like, man, this is like, we have to do this. This is hilarious. First of all, for the people who really know us, it's fucking hilarious. Sorry, but can I cuss on here?
Yeah.
All right, well, it's fucking hilarious for the people who know us. And like I knew like some people were gonna like fall for like, if it made us look bad, I knew some people were gonna actually fall for it. I just didn't know to the lengths that it would be. I didn't know that people would actually believe like everything that's in that show, but there's some people that do, man. And I knew what I was getting myself into, but I signed up for it anyways because I knew it was hella promotion. I knew that I could say that's just one thing that it could be on my belt, just like the whole divorce court thing. And I was on Hulu and music videos, and movies with Eddie Griffin, and I was on a lot of cool things. And unfortunately, Dr. Phil and Divorce Court are the two things that people see the most.
What were you on divorce court for?
So I don't know if I can. Well, yeah, I can say this. It's public. So Divorce Court is completely scripted.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see that on their website. They get mad at me every time I say this, and like the producers call me literally every time I say this. But it's on their website. Like, it's public. You can see it. It's in the fine print, whatever. But you can see it's scripted reality. So they knew that me and my wife were my wife's an actress too. She's been in a couple like indie films, and she was in a commercial for the UNLV over here for Intermountain Healthcare. But she's had some experience, is what I'm trying to say. So they hit us up, and they knew that we were, into the drama and all that stuff. So we made like we made a story up, and we went on there, and it was kind of like we went on there to promote our fight, or like, our fight aliases and shit like that. So it worked out, man. But Divorce Court was a lot better than Dr. Phil, because Divorce Court knew what we were trying to do, and we knew what they were trying to do. They just wanted like a good show and an entertaining show, and we gave them that. And Dr. Phil doesn't care about an entertaining show. They just want the worst like situation out of every show that they have. Like Dr. Phil, like if it's not bad, they're gonna make it look bad, because that's what they want. They have to have like the biggest drama on Dr. Phil. So that's the craziest part about that show.
Yeah, I always thought, okay, this guy is Dr. Phil. I would think that what he was being serious about this stuff, but he's not, huh?
Yeah, I mean, in person he is. In person he kind of seems like he's genuine for the most part. But then, like, for example, there's a segment that gets completely cut out, and it's like the first segment of the show, and it's like a 15-minute segment, and it's me and him just bullshitting with each other. He literally tells my wife, he's like, well, they're saying all these bad things about you. You don't look like all these bad things they're saying about you. And Trap, you're obviously a fighter. You're losing weight. You're doing this and doing that. They cut all that out. Almost every positive thing he said about me, they cut out. So like it's fucked up, because when I left the show, I told everybody, I was like, man, wait until that show comes out. I really proved everybody wrong. They're going to really see how I left a good impression on America. Like, there was parts where the audience was basically like stand up clapping for me and everything because of the shit I said. They cut all that out. They cut all that out. And so like when the show actually came out and I seen the show, I was fucking bamboozled. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is not what happened. And it made me look really bad. But that's TV. It is what it is. I signed the papers and said they can manipulate anything they want to. It's TV. They showed me like shaking my head yes, like the same clip of me shaking my head yes to like 8 different questions, and like stupid stuff like that. And when they showed me like pointing to a picture, and then they'll show a different picture than what was actually there, and like crazy stuff like that, man. And yeah, it was just heavily, heavily, heavily manipulated. And whether Dr. Phil is legit or not, the production is not. And I would say Dr. Phil did seem legit in person. He seemed genuine in person for the most part. You can tell he's playing it up a little bit for the TV. But he seemed like he really wanted to help and really wanted to understand. Producers don't give a fuck about any of that. They don't give a fuck about Dr. Phil. They don't care about my feelings. They don't care about anything other than putting on a big drama show.
Now, what was the fallout from the show after you did it?
So the fallout, this is hilarious, man. So we walk outside, and I'm looking at the guy. They brought in like this. What was it, like a health, like a life coach? That was what it was. It was a life coach. They brought in this life coach, and he's supposed to like help my life or whatever. And I'm like, why do I need help with my life? So as we're walking out, I was like, look, man, like I'll play along with the show, like if you want me to, so I can come back or whatever. But I don't really need help with my life. Like I don't know what that is. And like he looked at me like he straight up took this shit dead seriously, and he was like, what? What do you mean? Like, I'm trying to help you. And like he was like, he thinks this shit is like, he forgets that this is just TV or something. And he got so mad at me because I told him like I didn't need his help basically, that he went off on me behind the scenes in the camera. So they, they recorded all that, him going off on the camera about me. And then when when the camera barged in on like our dressing room, I was just telling him like, man, I'm just not feeling that guy. Like I'm down to come back on the show. I'm down to accept whatever help you guys need, because like of course I was trying to play along to get back on the show again. And the more TV time, the better, at that point of my career. And they were just, they were like, okay, well, we'll have you sign a waiver and if to work with this guy. And then I called the guy back, and he's just like, we ain't having it. We ain't trying to work with you. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to do all this for clout and stuff like that. So I think he was on to me, man, and that's all right. It is what it is. But Dr. Phil was a fun time. Divorce Court was a fun time. All the other acting stuff I did was fun, and I would definitely do reality show again, but I wouldn't do it to a point where like people like I'm not gonna fake shit anymore. Like I don't want to pretend like I'm having a drama with my wife, or pretend like I'm having drama with trolls online and shit like that when I'm not, because people really, really, really believe in that shit. And like to this day, I get people messaging me how I got kicked out of gyms and stuff and restaurants. And meanwhile, I've never been kicked out of a gym or a restaurant in my life. I've been kicked off of an MMA team once, and that was my old coach that was on Dr. Phil. I've never been kicked out of anything else. And uh, yeah, drama is a real thing, man, and people believe in it. But that's what TV's about. That's what they want, and that's what I gave them, and that's what got me a lot of clout and a lot of fans.
But as a result of it, after you did it, how did it kind of lead to what you were trying to accomplish at first, or at that point?
So I knew that they were going to see a big guy on Dr. Phil talking about how I want to fight. If I know how to throw a punch, we can make a lot of money and stuff like that. Like I had a lot of one-liners on there. I knew that I was going to get promoters just piling in more than they already were, wanting me to fight. I knew that people were either going to want me to fight or wanting to train me or wanting, to prove me either wrong or right. But either way, I just knew it was money. And at the end of the day, that's my goal right now. My first goal is just being comfortable with money. Like I just want to, I have a family to feed. And that's my first goal at the end of the day with all this, is I just want to feed my family. So I was doing anything I could to get to skip some levels. And now I skipped a few levels, and now I'm here. And I think it's paid off, man.
Now you are going to do another show. Now that you mentioned it, that you are going to do sort of another show with this
Yeah.
American Made thing. Maybe talk about that a little bit.
So American Made MMA is a TV show that's like it's almost like it's like you know what the Ultimate Fighter is.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously it's almost like that, but so I don't know much about it, but I do. It kind of came out of nowhere, man. I guess they wanted to surprise me with it or something, but they came to the gym, bunch of cameras, 3 legends, and put me to work. And we did like a little boot camp thing, and it was nerve-wracking because you got Tito Ortiz, Rampage Jackson, and Frank Mir studying you while you're supposed to show off your MMA skills, and they're going to judge you on whether they want you on the show or not.
Right.
And it was, I don't know, man, it was insane, but at the same time it was a manifest destiny moment for me, because I always told my wife that I wanted to be on like the Ultimate Fighter, and I wanted to be like the first super heavyweight in the UFC. And then the next thing you know, this show comes along, and it's just like the Ultimate Fighter. And I can't really say the other part,
Mm-hmm.
but man, you just have to wait until the show comes out.
Right.
But when I say manifest destiny is real, it really is. And I swear, when the show comes out, it's proof of it, man. I've been saying a lot of things, but I've been also doing a lot of things, and I've been accomplishing a lot of things, and I hope people see that. And I do talk a lot of trash. I do that, but I also back it up. I don't just say stuff out of nowhere. I am very confident, but I'm very humble at the same time. I know where I'm at. I know what I'm about. I know who I am. And I hope at the end of the day, after all my fights are done and said and done, and all these shows come out, I hope they actually see that, because there's a lot of stuff right now that is out there about me that's not true, and I'm almost like I'm almost having to do so much right now for like just damage control. Like I feel like I almost have to do a lot of like getting my voice out there just for damage control, so people can stop seeing this other fake stuff and they can just, the real stuff can flood in. So I
Mhm.
got a lot of work to do, man, but I'm on the road.
Now, what offers have you gotten for competition
Oh man,
that you mentioned?
jeez, I couldn't even, literally today, probably like 5 people in my inbox wanting to fight me, saying I'm a fake fighter, or this and that, or I get offers from anywhere from professional fighters that had like they're like 20 and like zero, like professional fighters that have no business looking at a guy like me, to guys who've never fought a day in their life or never been in the gym the day in their life, wanting to fight me and saying they can beat me up. So literally all day, every day, I'm getting random offers. Some of them legit, some of them not. But I do have a management team, and they're taking care of it for me. And I have two things coming up right now. One of them is hopefully Influencer Fight League, which is just straight boxing, which is
Hmm.
I think is my specialty, and I'm looking forward to showing that. And that's the next thing that's coming up. But after that is obviously American Made MMA, which is MMA, and I have
Right. I
no
mean,
idea
I've
what that
seen
is.
some of that stuff with KSI and guys like Salt Pappy, and are they
Yeah,
in the
man, he's a
influencer
beast.
fight
Salt
league?
Pappy is a beast.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. I think he has some good
Yeah.
ability.
Yeah, he's scary, man. He's been knocking fools out, so he's scary. And I like KSI too. I don't know about his technique, but he's a cool dude. Speaking of KSI, I actually train at the place that he trained at to fight Logan Paul. And I have to look at his freaking mug every time I'm in the gym, because we got his big fight poster on there with Logan Paul in the gym. So, yeah, I train at the same spot that he used to.
Yeah, so you think they might bring some of those guys in for this fight league?
I mean, you never know, man. You never know. The influencer fight league seems like it's something new. Seems like it's something that's like starting to pop off. I think if I was to fight for them, it would be the on the fourth card. But they're definitely. I mean, their production's amazing. Their team seems really cool. So yeah, I'm looking forward to working with these guys if I get the chance to.
And they're mostly sticking to American fighters at the moment.
I have no idea. I just know that I think the last 3 cards were boxing, but I did see a story on their Instagram that said they were looking for MMA fighters possibly.
Hmm.
So I don't know. We'll see. But
What did you think? Like,
I want to box. That's the next thing I really want to do. Other than like for this TV show, they could tell me I'm doing sumo wrestling for this TV show, and I'm down. Whatever you want. But when it comes to like actually just getting in there and fighting, man, I'm looking forward to boxing, because I just want to put these hands on somebody without worrying about them kicking my leg or taking me down. Or I'm a boxer at heart, so that's what I'm looking forward to.
well, maybe talk about some of those fights because, like I said, we saw Salt Pappy fight like Andy Worski, and he also fought who the other guy was, Halal
So
Him. What did you think about the Worski fight?
so I didn't really see though. I saw highlights. I didn't really watch the fights. The only fight that the only influencer fights I guess I'm really into is definitely Jake Paul. Um, so I never really said this publicly, but I told my wife this the other day, talking about manifest destiny. Jake Paul is going to go up in weight eventually. Slowly but surely, I'm going down in weight, and I'm going to get more popular. And I feel like eventually me and him's going to fight. I just have a feeling. And I feel like that's going to happen one day. And I'm going to manifest that. And that's going to be a big paycheck for me. And yeah, I really follow Jake Paul's fights. I don't know why, but something about, he's a goofball. He's a goofy ass. He's a douchebag kid, whatever. But he's smart as hell, man. Like the business side of him and everything that he does, I have no choice but to respect and watch and learn. So yeah, I really
What do you
follow
think
that.
about him fighting Anderson Silva, though?
I think it's insane because Anderson Silva is one of my favorite. he's one of my, if not my favorite MMA fighter of all time, besides John Jones and Brock Lesnar. But yeah, I don't know how that fight's gonna go out. I mean, obviously everyone is gonna say that Anderson's gonna knock him out, but man, I don't know. We've seen crazier things. I thought that he was stupid for fighting Tyron Woodley the first time. When he got past Tyron Woodley the first time, I was like, "Whew, man, okay, you got lucky. Now fight Dylan Dennis." You know what I mean? Fight Dylan Dennis or somebody else who doesn't have hands and build that shit up, because that's what I would do. I'm not trying to fight beasts right off the bat. I mean, you seen the first guy fight. He could barely throw a punch. And like, these guys are like Tyron Woodley again. So Tommy Fury was also, I feel like, a bad choice. But I mean, who am I to say what? Because he might have whooped his ass too. But when he knocked out Tyron Woodley for the second time, that's when I was like, damn, dude, okay. Like, this dude is like, I don't know. This dude can fight, and he's got an aura with him. And sometimes that aura is stronger than talent, man. Like, I feel like, yeah, manifestation is real. And, yeah, all that's real. Anderson fought a real boxer. Yeah, Chavez Jr. That fight was also a lot of the things that Anderson was throwing was so awkward. Like, I can't believe it was even landing. Like that uppercut from like down here, and he was throwing it like a Muay Thai uppercut. And you don't see that stuff in boxing. Or that last knockout he did, where he's just like, he looks like an old, well, I guess he is an old man, but he's sitting there like old man punching the dude's stomach, and then he just comes up with a right hook and just knocks the guy out cold. It's like, Anderson Silva's something to study, but I love that guy.
Yeah, he's always been really creative, and
Yeah,
a guy who's willing
boxing
to
is just
try things
crazy.
other people aren't willing to try. Yeah. Now, Jake Paul, so he didn't sell for Rahman. Do you think he was kind of cornered into fighting Silva because maybe the last fight didn't sell?
That's a great question. That is a great question, because like, what else would get him? What else would get anybody up, like the fans or anything, up for this fight, unless it's like a big fight? Because like, we seen Tommy Fury back out twice. We seen the Rockman fight. I don't know who backed out of that one, to be honest, but like, it just didn't happen. I'll just say that. I feel like both sides were kind of iffy about that, and that's another fight that I was like, whew, man. Jake Paul is in trouble. Like, I didn't like that fight for Jake Paul at all. I really thought that he was going to get hurt in that fight, and I feel like, I don't know, somebody might have saved his ass not letting that fight happen, because, man, Asim
Well, the
Rockman's no
thing
joke.
was, his promoter's Tony Holden. He actually lives pretty close to me. He
Yeah,
lives in a place called Miami, Oklahoma. And he used to promote Tommy Morrison. And obviously he's involved in his kids' fights, Tommy's sons, Kinsey and Trey. So Kinsey fought Hasim Rahman, and he TKO'd him. It was a pretty good fight. But
right,
that's why they decided to bring Rahman in.
right,
Tony didn't just pull him out of the sky. He knew they had
right.
just been involved with him in a fight. So they decided to bring him in for the fight after Kinsey had just fought him.
Yeah,
So,
but man, I just feel like Kinsey's so much bigger and stronger,
yeah.
and the experience. I don't know what they were thinking bringing in Rockman Jr. Honestly, I really don't. I just, man, that was a bad. But then again, I didn't know what they were thinking fighting Tyron Woodley. I thought Tyron Woodley was going to easily just handle this guy. Like, boxing is so different. Like, I don't understand what, like, I feel like, I guess if you fight MMA for so long, you get these bad habits. Like, I will admit that I did get a lot of like, I had to reverse a lot of things when I started training boxing again, because I grew up boxing, and then I came out here, started doing MMA. The first thing I did, I got in the cage. It's like this arm down, front foot was forward, boom, leg kick, boom, leg kick. Shit, okay. I guess I'm standing square now. So I had to change everything when I first came out here, and now it's like I gotta change it again. Now it's back on the surfboard again. Now I can stick my leg out there. Now I can bend down and not get head kicked or leg kicked or anything like that, or taken down. So it's just such a different game, and I feel like a lot of these MMA guys forget that, because Tyron Woodley was in there fighting like
Mhm.
Like he was like a Muay Thai fighter or something. This isn't a Muay Thai fight. This is boxing. And man, yeah, he was like, I just can't believe he got knocked out, man. It's still hard to believe for me, but it is what it is. Congratulations to Jake Paul for sure. I'm hoping to get that fight one. No, I will get that fight one day for sure.
Did you see this Diaz Ferguson fight, this last event?
I saw clips of it. I saw clips of it, and man, it's hilarious. Honestly, like, and I love fights like that. I think it's great. I think it's hilarious how Dustin Poirier tweeted out. He said the Bum Olympics or something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, taking a break in between round or in the middle of the round and stuff, shit's hilarious, man. I love all that. I love it all. Like a lot of people might think it's like, disrespectful, and a lot of people might think it's like cringy or anything. I think it's hilarious, man. I love all that kind of stuff.
It is funny, but I wonder, how did Nate Diaz come out of that? Did he come out looking better or worse?
Fans are so stupid and impressionable that he definitely came out looking better. Because like, I feel like as long as he wins, even if he doesn't win, these fans are. I swear he could like land one punch, and these fans are like, Diaz had him. Like they're
Yeah.
so delusional about the Diaz brothers, and which I love the Diaz brothers. I'm friends with Nick, so I'm a fan of the Diaz brothers, but I'm not. It is what it is. He didn't beat Leon Edwards because he landed a punch on him. So I'm not one of those guys.
Because I saw Jake Paul make a video immediately after the fight. So I think he saw him look, wow, this guy looked really bad. I really want to fight him now,
Yeah, but man, a motivated Diaz, I think, would be a lot different because he did come in there thinking that he was fighting Kamzat Shemaev. I can never say his fucking name. I don't want to say Kamzat Shemaev, like Colby Covington. But he came in there. I feel like he came in there just like training jiu-jitsu because he knew that he was just gonna go straight to the ground. But I feel like a motivated Diaz training straight boxing for Jake Paul. Ooh, man, that's a scary fight.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting
Even
point.
an unmotivated Diaz is a scary fight. Let's be honest. Like he just came in there unmotivated as hell and choked out Tony Ferguson. So
Yeah. The only thing I would be worried about for him, because Paul has shown that he has power, and
yes,
Diaz doesn't have maybe power, and so I don't know.
But
I'm a little
can
worried
he
that,
breathe under those pitter
yeah,
patter punches though? Because like I've had that done to me before, man, and it's almost like you try to cover up, and it's like I don't know. Once you block like 5, you got like 3 more coming, and even though they're not the heaviest, it's still like it almost like it zaps your cardio more than it really hurts your head. It's weird.
right. I think Hamzat looked great,
Yeah, even though he was overweight, he looked great.
But do you think that was
everybody
real?
with the scale so far?
We were talking about this. We thought maybe they decided, okay, I think the UFC kind of looked at kind of how the fans were talking about this, and not like you were saying, they're delusional about the Diaz brothers, and they were like, yeah, he doesn't deserve to get beat up going out on this last fight. They need to give him a better fight. And I think they just said, you know what, you come in heavy, we'll have you fight Holland.
Yeah,
fight
man,
Ferguson,
that's a
and
conspiracy theory right there.
Well, I
You
think
never
a lot
know,
of
man.
people
Like
think that.
it's so crazy how well it worked out. Like how
Mhm.
perfectly it worked out for everybody. And yeah, man, like even the submission at 209, like the clock at 209, it's just the MMA gods had it that night for sure, man. There was something in the air.
Yeah, I think because when I watched like the brawl, they put out the brawl stuff, and I was like, this is nothing like he
Yeah, it wasn't.
described it.
I was looking for when the way Dana was talking about it, he sounded like it was like this crazy fucking like the Conor McGregor Khabib thing, and then you watch it on YouTube and it's like, man, that wasn't even that bad. I seen worse things at the bar like last weekend. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or even Geraldo Rivera. Remember when he got in a fight with those skinheads?
Exactly.
I brought
That's
that up since
exactly.
you've been on the show. You
That's
probably find
funny.
that funny.
That is
Yeah, I
funny.
mean, he's
That's
had
that's
worse
a
brawls on
throwback right
Geraldo
there.
Rivera's show.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's a
was like, that was
throwback, man.
nothing to cancel the press conference over. You know,
Yeah, yeah, that was
I think they
stupid.
did it all for show. We got to generate more interest in the fight. No one really wants to see Nate get pummeled. I wouldn't have minded, but most people didn't want to
It
see it.
worked. It worked
You
for
know,
me. Yeah, I was kind of curious about the Diaz fight before it got switched, just because I was like, man, I wonder like how like I know Kamzat's like really good on the ground, but like man, Diaz is just like it's another level. Like I thought it was pretty cool to see it come full circle with the Eddie Bravo with the Eddie Bravo 10th Planet and the fucking Gracies. Like a lot of people didn't nobody mentioned that it was a
hmm
Eddie Bravo student getting submitted by a Gracie student. And like it's almost like it came full circle. I was like that's pretty cool, man. That's a part of the story nobody mentioned. But yeah, it's crazy.
now you did high rollers too. Maybe talk about that a little bit.
Oh man, shoot, what do you want to know?
Oh, just talk about the overall experience.
It was insane. It was insane. So I got the notice on 10 days, and apparently this dude named Supreme Patty was gonna roll with this guy, and then he pulled out, and I came in, and I wasn't training basically at all. But I knew it was like, I'm a big guy. I got experience in the cage, and I got some grappling experience, and it's against this little dude, and I didn't know that he was like a high level blue belt that's been competing for years and shit like that. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. I remember this guy on Vine. He used to put like spoons over his eyes and say he's shielding the haters or something like that. And that's how he got famous. But I remember watching this kid growing up and stuff. So I was like, yeah, man, that's cool. Let's have a celebrity high rollers event. I show up and there's just so much fucking weed. It's ridiculous. Like the whole place is just smoked out. Everybody's got joints. You didn't even have to bring your own stuff. And there's like volcanoes and bags. And this guy was having me hit what the fuck was it? It was some dabs, some crazy dabs. Like right before I right before I stepped on the stage. And I feel like I was definitely the highest person that night on the cage in the cage. And yeah, it was an experience, man. It was hard to be high and like be like and like wanting to fight at the same time. But I think that's what it's about. So I like high rollers, and we were actually just talking about going over there to that event center today and getting some work in, but we never ended up going. But yeah, high rollers is dope, man. The people over there are really cool. The event is really cool, and I think that it's going to blow up more and more, especially now that it's on Pluto TV.
Are you going to the Abu Dhabi event?
No,
No,
probably not.
because it's fairly big and
I
it's
don't
going
go
to
to
be in
many.
Vegas.
There's so many cool things here in Vegas that I don't go to, that I don't get to go to. People would think that I go to all the time, but man, it does. When you got kids, you have to make time for that stuff. So I do got three little ones I have to take care of too. So a lot of times when I'm not training, I'm playing daddy.
Yeah, but Trout make a scene at Abu Dhabi. That would be perfect.
I know, right? I know, man. I got to get out there more.
Or maybe stand outside, and try to cause some sort of ruckus or something.
Just show up in a limo with some music and some girls.
Yeah, just anything, or maybe challenge somebody.
Man, yeah. When the more money I get, I feel like the more crazy my career is gonna get, man. Like right now, I'm as crazy as I can afford to be, and one day people are. I don't want. One day I won't have to tell people I'm rich. They're just gonna fucking see it.
Now tell us when American made, or the American made MMA. When is it? Where can we see it, and when do you think it's going to come on?
So if you go on YouTube and you type in American Made MMA, they're the first video that shows up. That's the commercial. That's literally all I know about it. Obviously, than the first filming of the show. I can't really say anything other than I'm a part of the show. It's gonna be huge, man. It's got a lot of great people behind it. Obviously, some legends behind it, and yeah, it's crazy, man. I hope anybody who really doesn't believe in themselves and like wants to do something with their life and then has a hard time like trusting themselves and believing themselves and have the confidence sees the show, because if they could just take a little bit of what I had on this show with them, then I feel like they could learn a lot. Because if people only knew how not confident I really am and how much I portray confidence just to like build myself up. And you know, sometimes I'm so unconfident, I'll talk shit to people just to get them to like want to whoop my ass, just so I have something to like, it's some kind of danger in me to train. Because if I don't feel danger, I don't feel like I need to work as hard. And like, I have to feel like somebody's always coming for my head, because I want to feel like I'm on point. And sometimes I pump myself up like that a lot. And you know, sometimes the most unconfident people can be the most dangerous, because they'll just train their ass off to be comfortable. And the more skills I get, the more money I get, and the more weight I lose, the more comfortable and the more confident I become, and the more I kill all that self-consciousness.
Well, I mean, it's great talking to you. And if you find out anything about when this American Made show is on, you know, we need to put that out so people can check
Yeah,
you out.
man. You know, it just says coming soon on the YouTube, on the YouTube, on the YouTube video. So unfortunately, that's all I know. But hopefully, it's dropping real soon. I'll definitely hit you a DM and all that stuff and let you know when it's coming out, when I do, for sure, man.
Can you do any competition in between now and then, or no?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do with the Influencer Fight League. I don't think I can do like MMA, but just Influencer Fight League, just like, I think it's just like exhibition boxing or something like that. And I can probably do like high rollers and all that other stuff. But when it comes to like sanctioned MMA, I'm gonna wait, or like sanctioned like professional boxing or anything like that. I'm just gonna wait until to see what the show has in store for me.
That sounds cool, man. I'm interested to see it for sure.
Man, that's it's gonna be a crazy ride.
All right, man. It was great talking to you. It was great meeting you. And like, if you ever want to come back on,
You
I'm
too, brother.
thrilled to
Thank you
have you.
so much.
Yeah, take care. It's great talking to you.
Hey, thanks, man. You too.